With a new week comes new X-Men comics, and this week X-Men issue 27 and Cyclops issue 2 came out, both of which were fantastic reads, but quite sad for various reasons. We'll start with X-Men issue 27 by McKay and Diaz. This was part 2 of the Danger Room story, which is a really interesting one. Of course, last month we saw Cyclops and the X-Team, apart from Psylocke, fly over to this undersea base to save the sheriff, finding out that the base was a trap, that they kind of knew that already. And this month we got to see the background of that trap and who set it up. Excitingly, it's Maxine Danger, who we know from the Beyond Corporation Spider-Man Beyond arc, which I personally really loved. It was the introduction of Chasm, who's up there, who's one of my favourite Spider-Man characters. So it was cool to see Maxine Danger back, but obviously she's really horrible. And the Danger Room team, as she calls it, that she's assembled here to take down the X-Men is a pretty miserable one. They're all kind of ex-government agents, and there's 2 people who think they're Skrull, or may actually be Skrulls. I bet there's going to be a twist that they turn out to be Skrulls. And there's just this one mass murderer, all these kind of serial killer types that Danger's assembled to take down the X-Men in their own way on the orders of ONE1. So this issue is all about seeing the background of those characters, how Danger assembled them, and how they plan to take down the X-Men, which, to be fair, was a very well-told story. We got to see how one person who liked manipulating people was in charge of taking out the sheriff, how they also isolated Psylocke by kidnapping John Greycrow, and how they've basically been manipulating the X-Men all this time, and of course culminating in that one horrible scene that we got last month, where a glob, everyone's favourite of the current X-Men, was shot quite horribly. And this month we got to see a terrible, as in heartbreaking, page of Glob lying on the table, and Quentin Quire and everyone, Magneto and everyone around him, just with tears streaming down their faces. So that really made me hammered home how this issue is just a heartbreaking one. So obviously the whole thing was just about the X-Men suffering, basically, and the enemies kind of going on a victory lap of how good their kidnapping has been. We know the X-Men are going to break out, and we know Maxine Danger is gonna, and the Danger Room team are going to be brought down. But currently, in kind of Act 2 of the story, it's sad. Some other cool things to point out about this issue that were kind of, I thought, exciting, worth celebrating. One, we got to see the Marauders ship back. I see it every now and then, but it's always so cool to see with a skull on the front. It reminds me of the Krakoa era. I really loved the Marauders series with Kate Pryde as the swashbuckling captain. So that was really cool to see, even if it was taking Psylocke to her doom. Also, we revealed that the undersea ship that the X-Men were in is this crazy kind of psychic shark thing. I've no idea how the Danger Room team have managed to create that. I saw someone online say that maybe it was Sugar Man. Who knows? But anyway, they're basically inside a massive sentient shark ship, which was a cool thing to see. A heartbreaking issue for many reasons, but that final page showing Cyclops and the team ready to fight back made me very excited for Act 3 of this story. I absolutely love McKay's X-Men series at the moment. Diaz is fantastic on art. Stegman's obviously usually really great, but Diaz is doing really well with this art, and I always love their artwork. So yeah, really great to read, and I just hope that the X-Men prevail in the next issue or the issue after. This week we also got Cyclops issue 2 by Pat Nadell and Antonio, and this was a bit more of a light-hearted, fun adventure, and also a really, I think this mini-series is really vital because we're going to get more background into Cyclops' current motivations and where he's standing, which is obviously very important because he's emerging as one of the key players in the current roster, and he's really driving things forward. We saw that last week with X-Men United as well, when he burnt down the school. It's a fun mini-series. Pat Nadell is always really, really good on X-Men stories, and I always really love their writing. The Reavers being present are cool because the Reavers are very body horror, quite Borg-esque, I always find. And there was some really horrible infighting between them here as well. We got to see Cyclops befriend a new character, May, as well, who seems very interesting. I'm not sure what their powers are, but they seem to be affected by their fear, so they're not able to summon them when afraid. So obviously there's going to be some through line of Cyclops teaching them that, not to be afraid, and that will be interesting as well. So yeah, a really good story. I really enjoyed this one, and it was kind of a welcome. It wasn't lighthearted, it was still quite sad, but it was kind of a more lighthearted adventure after the very sad X-Men issue 27 and all the sad things that happened to Glob. But overall, a great week for X-Men comics. As I said last time, I'm really enjoying all of the current From the Ashes series. Krakoa is always going to be my number one, but the From the Ashes has some really fun adventures, and the teams are really panning out to be really exciting on their own. Really great fun, really enjoyed them. Let me know what you thought of them if you've read them as well in the comments, and check back next week for more X-Men comic reviews.